reading from the first letter of Peter. Beloved, come to him, a living stone, rejected by human beings, but chosen and precious in the sight of God. And, like living stones, let yourselves be built into a spiritual house, to be a holy priesthood, to offer spiritual sacrifices, acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. For it says in Scripture, Behold, I am laying a stone in Zion, a cornerstone, chosen and precious, and whoever believes in it shall not be put to shame. Therefore, its value is for you who have faith, but for those without faith, the stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone, and a stone that will make people stumble, and a rock that will make them fall. They stumble by disobeying the word, as is their destiny. You are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people of his own, so that you may announce the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. The word of the Lord.
Our second reading on this fifth Sunday of Easter is taken from the first letter of Peter. We have been reflecting on how we could become living and responsible members of the household of God, the house of God. In the first reading from the Acts of the Apostles, a crisis situation taught the early church how they could strengthen the new household, the new family of God in the risen Lord. First, through prayer. Secondly, through the ministry of the Word. And third, through service of the poor, the widows, the most needy in the community. In the second reading from the letter of Peter, we have this reminder of the core of it all. He says, come to Jesus. Yeah, I think that's the best summary. How can we become good members of the house of God, the church? Come to Jesus. And St. Peter uses the image of a construction, a building. Jesus is depicted as the cornerstone. Now you would say, oh, but Jesus is a living person. He is not a stone. Well, this is figurative language. Jesus is the cornerstone, yes, initially rejected by the builders, as evidenced by his suffering and eventual death. But this stone rejected by the builders was made by God as the cornerstone of a living edifice, of a house which is not made of stone, cement, of wood, or steel, but according to St. Peter, a living temple. This is the house that is constructed by God on the cornerstone that is Jesus. And we are called by the second reading as living stones. We can become good, responsible members of the household of God if we are truly living stones, not dead stones. Now, we can ask the first letter of Peter, how can we become living stones? The answer of the second reading is simple. Offer sacrifices to God. You are a royal priesthood, a nation set apart. You belong to God. And as a royal priesthood, as a living temple of the Spirit, your main task is to offer living sacrifices to God. Not sacrifices of goats, of lambs, of bulls, but the living sacrifice, meaning offer yourselves in love, in generous service. You belong to God, now offer yourself to God the way Jesus did. Jesus, the cornerstone, became the foundation of a new family in His sacrifice of self, in this holiest of offering of His body, of His blood, for service of God and the salvation of His brothers and sisters. We who are attached to Jesus, the cornerstone, we who are supposed to be living stones of this living temple, we can contribute to the life of this temple by doing as Jesus did. St. Paul, in his letter to the Romans, said it this way: offer your bodies as a pleasing sacrifice to the Lord. Offer yourself the way Jesus offered Himself. So, generous love that does not hold back. Here I am. I am the offering to God and to neighbor the way Jesus was. With generous love, we can strengthen the living temple, the living house of God.